Hey guys, it's your boy, Ballface8020, back again with another great commentary. This is a Casey video, and in honor of Casey, I'm wearing this flashy tie. And he's gonna be a douche and wear that stupid cowboy hat, then I can add that this tie I think actually literally looks nice. Now, granted, it does look kind of ridiculous to wear a tie with a t-shirt, but I do like the tie. So Casey's got a video. Some of you may have already seen it. He's got a student who sends him either a text or I think a text, because he's in like whatever new inner circle group Casey's got going on. This is since in the time that we've been following Casey, he's gone through like at least 3 major inner circles. One was just the MBT inner circle. Then there was the like making money inner circle when he was trying to imitate Andrew Tate. Like, remember, he was shifting his focus to business, and then he was doing that horrible podcast with his sister, and the Xander life, which he deleted everything there. And then the now he's doing this third thing. So I don't know. This third thing just seems kind of like a rebrand of the original MBT thing, but I don't know. I don't know if it's how it's different or if it's different or what. I don't know. So, excuse me. Anyway, he's got this student in the course or in the client or whatever you want to call him, and so the guy sends him this text or message, and he's saying, Casey, like, so we got a problem from the very beginning. Before he says, so why are you going to Casey for advice about anything, let alone about women? In fact, why are you even talking to Casey? So, I mean, we're already off to a horrible start, but it gets worse. So he's like, Casey, the story is, I'm not gonna do it perfectly. You can go watch if you're interested, but as best as I can remember, it's this, and I definitely remember the gist. This guy is going on, I'm not sure where he himself lives, but he's in an airport going to Miami. In the air, like to get to a flight that goes to Miami. In the airport, he meets a girl. Now, I don't know if this was after he arrived in Miami or he met her on the way there while they were waiting to board the plane. I don't know. From the very beginning that they met, though, she was sort of the initiator, okay? She came over. I don't know whether they were in, whatever it was, he was sitting down. So I don't know if he was sitting down waiting to board the plane. He was sitting down sometime he got after the plane. I don't know. But it wasn't an airport. He was sitting down. She deliberately came over, sat next to him, and to try to get his attention. At which point, I'm assuming he started flirting. Because usually, I mean, unless you're like an insane, out-of-this-world Chad, and even then it's probably rare, what a girl will do is, no matter how much she's into you, she will not start flirting with you unadvised. So she'll come up into your space, make it clear that she wants you to flirt with her, but she's generally not going to do the initiating or the heavy lifting. It's, first of all, it's just not the way women are generally wired, except that the women who are wired that way tend to have high T, and it's also, for them, it's kind of like a self-respect thing. Like, you know, they don't, like, you know, it's part of the respect they have for themselves as women to, like, not do, like they'll thought it up, they'll simp, they'll, you know, do everything to try to get a guy who they're interested in to like them or to pay attention to him. But what they're not going to do is initiate the flirting. Okay, that's his job. So I don't know exactly how it worked, but whatever it is, she sent all the signals. I guess he then took advantage to start doing the flirting. I don't know. The only reason I'm bringing this all up is because with, you know, Casey and somebody who's been brainwashed by Casey, you don't know like how they're going to play it. Are they going to be like, well, no, she has to start flirting or I'm going to lose frame? I don't know. So anyway, but he takes her up on it. They spend, it looks like a weekend together in Miami and have a really good time. Now, how they could have a good time together, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't have a good time for a weekend with somebody who I knew well, let alone some total stranger. So I like the way this is going. I mean, You found a girl who it sounds like you're really attracted to, and you had a fun weekend with them. I mean, that's great. That's just, I mean, it's off to a good start. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's off to a good start. Then, okay, so they go their separate ways. So they don't live at the same place. They live pretty far apart, it sounds like. I think he's saying he lives in South Carolina. I can't remember. So one of the Carolinas. Sounds like he's a young entrepreneur working on his business. But he's got some money. And enough money that he's able to waste it on Casey Xander's coaching. So he wants to see her again. She wants to see him again. She's making it really clear. And so in order to facilitate them meeting up again, he sends her the money to fly to meet him one weekend in North Carolina or South Carolina, wherever it was. And so she comes over there and he said again, they had a really good time, spent the weekend together. He said, I can tell she's super into me. She's cooking me food, doing my laundry. But I'm reaching out to Casey because I'm worried I'm losing frame. Just total defeat. I mean, there's like, do I have to even say anything? Because I think like any words I give are not going to do this justice. This is what listening to people like Casey Xander leads you to. I mean, it's okay video fodder, but it should never have gotten to this point. So he says that because he's worried about losing frame, for the last 2 days, he has not texted her, and he has not interacted with any of her Instagram stories. He said, I'm really confident that she's thinking about me this entire time. And so, what's the deal? What should be my next move? And I think he even said, is there anything I can do to salvage this? Salvage it? What's there to salvage? It's going really well, you fucking moron. Now, before we get into Casey's retardation, Casey mentioned something that one of the other guys in the group said, which I thought was really interesting. The other guy in the group said, you've got to be careful with these girls who get really attached really fast, because they're like super into you, but that infatuation, because it's so intense, it can't last. They're super into you one day, and then the next day they're bored of you and they disregard you without a second thought. And then Casey followed that up with, he said, like I always say, the faster the burn, the brighter the burn, the faster the candle, or something. Which you say, what he's trying to, I don't remember the exact thing. Something about candles and burning. Where that means that the more passionate it is, the quicker that relationship burns out. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there's something to it. And if you look at like the couples with the best longevity, and the couples who are like old, ancient, and still together. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say something. Anybody who's trying to get in touch with me on Reddit, don't bother for the next like 10 days because I'm banned for for what I don't even know. They don't tell you what you did. Okay, but anyway, the old couples that have been together for a long time, if you observe them, there's no passion in their relationships. They're like so in love They're so in love. It's disgusting, I think. But, you know, a lot of people, most people like it or find it endearing. I don't. To me, it churns my stomach. I mean, I'm glad it exists. I guess we need it, but I don't. I do not care for it. They're so in love, but there's no passion. And I'm not saying that passion is bad, or if you have passion, it's not going to do it. But I don't know if you can really maintain that passion over the course of a lifetime. I'm not sure you're even supposed to. Like, ideally, you maintain that love over the course of a lifetime. And in fact, if anything, it grows. Now, it could just be something that the passion, a requirement for the passion is the sort of physical prime. Like, if you just don't, like, it's impossible to be as passionate, like, because passion there's a very physical component to passion. And I don't just mean in romance, I mean in life in general. And as you get older, you don't really feel things as strongly. Like, you still feel love as strongly, but you don't, not as strongly, but not as passionately. So I don't think that, so like, I think there's something to it. This whole thing that like a really passionate relationship is more likely to burn out faster. Do I think it necessarily will? No. In this case, without knowing this guy or this girl, let's just take the whole Casey angle out of it. I would expect it probably would. It's like, I think two people who don't really know each other that much get like super passionate this quickly. I think Coach Blackpill even was in a situation like this. Those are like, yeah, it's there's nothing wrong with it, but I would say that is probably more likely than not to burn out quickly. So I understand the caution there. But you know, in Casey's mind, Casey thinks of like in Casey's mind, every problem has a solution, and you are always in control. Not of your, I mean, I agree that you're always in control of your actions, but you're not always in control of your outcomes. You usually aren't. So like in Casey's mind, if there's a passionate relationship that burns out, there's no idea to Casey that it's like, because that's the way it goes sometimes. Like that just isn't how Casey's mind operates. Casey thinks like, okay, because will go that way, which was an undesirable result. It happened because I did X or didn't do Y. So then Casey then follows up like with what he's saying. He's like, first of all, you don't know that she's sitting around thinking about you. You know, she could be not. And then, you know, he says like, really, it's 50-50. I disagree that it's 50-50. I do agree that there's no way to really know. You know, a girl you haven't talked to in 2 days, yeah, she could be there simping over him. She could have already lost interest. She could be thinking about other shit. She could be thinking about the 10 million guys who are in her DMs. Then he said, and then he said, so he goes on further. He says, it doesn't matter that she thinks or knows you've got the money to go and fly her out. Okay. He said, once you've done that, she knows how invested you are. Like, you are really invested here, even if that money isn't a big deal to you. So she knows she's got you. She has the upper hand. And it's like, no. It is no. What? Okay. Got to think, because in the case his concern is, you know, hypergamy. By doing this, you're not effectively dealing with her hypergamy. Hypergamy is a real thing. For women, for sure. For men, it's harder to really explain because men just kind of want to fuck everything. But but hypergamy, female hypergamy, whether you want to say male hypergamy or just being or it's just being a man whore, I don't know. Female hypergamy is a thing, which is all we're cared about for the purposes of this conversation. It's something that you may have to deal with in a long-term relationship. That depends on the woman. You know, that depends on the woman and, you know, what you value and stuff. How common is it? Like how big of an issue is it? I don't know. I mean, you know, it's like, I really don't know. And it can mean different things, because a woman could be with you and love you and still want to stay with you and then still cheat on you sometimes. And it's not necessarily because the other guy's better looking or he's taller or ever. It's because just like men sometimes want variety, so do women. And it's not as extreme with women as it is with men, but it is a real thing. And because I know, like, I got one friend who fucked this girl who was like a 9. Okay, and he's an okay looking guy, but he's nothing special. And after it was done, he was like, trying to like set it up to see her again, to hopefully fuck her again. And she was like, "Oh no, I can't. I'm married. I'm sorry." And he said that something happened, like where he ended up seeing a picture, or maybe she showed him a picture of her husband, like 6'3", jacked. Yeah, I don't know if he wasn't like Jimmy Garoppolo. I didn't see the guy, but he said he was handsome. So I mean, I know that it's hard for guys to judge other guys, straight guys to judge other guys' looks. So she's a Stacy, married to a Chad. And here she is fucking a guy with a lower SMV. She's not going to leave the Chad for my friend, for my high-tier normie friend. So, I mean, I'm just saying that kind of shit happens. It's like I said, it depends on the woman. It depends on the relationship. It doesn't always mean the same thing. So anyway, let's talk about hypergamy theory. When it's gotten to the relationship, when things are acting like this, you don't need to worry about hypergamy. When she is cooking for you and doing your laundry, she has gone full simp, okay? It doesn't matter that you've spent money to fly her out. It doesn't matter that you've shown an investment of interest. If you want to play the game that way, she has earned that investment and that interest. Because what about her investment? I mean, that's pretty hardcore shit. Now, look, I'm against this whole red pill idea. Or not, I don't know if against is the wrong word. I'm not in favor of this red pill idea that the woman needs to cook and clean for her man. And it's whatever. If there's, people who do feel that way, fine. I don't buy it. I don't buy that it's a necessary part of a relationship, whatever. But I will say this. If a woman, girl, whatever you want to say, is really into a guy, cooking and cleaning for him and doing his laundry is a good way for women to show their appreciation and their affection. And I don't know if I want to say most, but a lot of women will do that stuff for a guy they're really into. Now, I want to be careful. I'm absolutely not encouraging women to do this, even for guys they're really into. I'm not saying that they should. I'm not even saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying that, it does seem like to be kind of a natural thing, because I've heard, or not heard, but read other women say stuff like this, that they actually if they're really into a guy, they actually enjoy cooking for him and doing his laundry. Now, look, that's fucking, the laundry thing is just weird. Why the hell would you? I can understand enjoying cooking for him, but why the hell would you want to enjoy doing his laundry? That's really weird. Because that's his mom's job, isn't it? That's fucking weird, man. And then I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to do things throughout the whole relationship. Maybe in that courtship stage, when your guys are in that honeymoon, super into each other stage, sure. But there is now, so the reverse for men is not for the man to do cooking and then the woman's laundry. Doing the woman's laundry, that would be really weird. Or cleaning for her, maybe some cooking, I don't know, on special occasions. But to do things like take her out, to nice places, buy her shit, stuff like that. So with men, it tends to be more about financial stuff, like what you pay for her and bring her along on. And for a woman to show affection for a guy is more about stuff you do for him. So, which for men, it's more about what you buy for her. For women, it's more about what you do for him. This is very general, by the way. And nobody has to do anything. If you can be a guy in a relationship, there's plenty of ways you can show affection and appreciation that don't involve you buying her shit. And for a woman, there's plenty of ways you can show affection for a guy without cooking for him or doing his laundry. Then the laundry thing is just weird, but without cooking for him. I remember when I was seeing my brother cook for his high school girlfriend, and I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? Dude, that is so fucking gay. But as I got older, I'm like, it's okay. I mean, you just, like, I mean, it was at our house. It wasn't, she couldn't cook at our house, obviously. So, and she wanted a hamburgers, and he cooked it for both of them. So I guess that isn't really I guess that's nice, thing. I just, was young and had maybe more fixed ideas about relationships. I would have thought it was cringe if it was the reverse too, but this was just kind of like, Anyway, so anyway, no, in this case, what this guy needs to do is forget all the shit about frame and shit, and that same stuff. Now, what the first guy in the community said about the girl, her interest may burn bright, but it could also burn out. Yeah, I mean, that could happen, but if it's going to go that way, it's going to go that way. So you don't need to worry about that part. Then the next, so he said he hasn't texted in 2 days, and he hasn't interacted with her Instagram stories. See, this may be easier for me to say, because I don't use Instagram. I actually agree with the not interacting with the Instagram stories. In fact, I would say, I'm not going to say delete your Instagram account because you may want to keep that to follow people or look at stuff, but I would say just don't interact with Instagram stories. Like as a general rule, I would give that as advice. I mean, there are exceptions, your mileage may vary, but for most men, particularly young men who are still in the game, yeah, I would say don't interact with Instagram stories. Not at least not with women's Instagram stories or with a woman who you have any attraction to. And I would say that any woman, I would think that that's okay advice. You don't want to get spurgy about it or be absolute, but I think that that's okay. Now, and then if he said, "Look, I'm still reading the stories." Yeah, look, I've been there. When you're he's obviously really into her, and when you're like that, you're not going to be able to have the self-discipline to not look at those stories. You're still going to read them. And, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Do that shit. But the one that I have the concern about though is the no texting, because there's, I think, two real problems. Okay. One is you don't need it. You don't need to do that. Okay, it's not like this red pill thing that texting too frequently or texting too fast causes women to lose attraction to you. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. It's completely irrelevant in that sense. But which gets us to the next problem. If you are not texting, okay, in 2 days, because here's where women are good at this stuff, all right? If you're not texting because you are worried about showing too much interest, she will know, okay? She will know that's what you're doing. Now, if you're not texting because you really just don't have interest, that's different. She's going to know that too. That's the one that can potentially help you. It's not nice. I'm not saying you should do it, but that's the one that could potentially help you if you're trying to satisfy hypergamy or get her more into you. But but no, I would say it would be the worst thing to do. I would say this is let's say a guy comes to me with this problem. And he's like, this girl, I like her. I don't want her to think I'm over invested, but the truth is I am emotionally simping for her. What should I do regarding text? Should I text her less often? I would say absolutely not. I would say if you have a situation where you're texting her just way too much, 5 times an hour, and she's not responding, no. I say I would say no. Just talk to her. You're interested. Don't be afraid to show how interested you are. I know I've had some pushback from this. I've had one female viewer push back on this, say that no, you don't. Say actually Casey's right. You don't want to show too much interest in the initial part. Don't listen to this. Don't listen to romantic advice from women. Okay, I mean, you do it you're better off with women than with Casey, but still, there's things where they don't know what they're talking about. No. If you're interested, you're interested, and be honest about it. You know, you be true to yourself, be honest about it, be honest with her. Don't worry if she thinks you're overly invested. I mean, again, don't act like some psycho stalker. But you don't have to worry about it. Like, if she knows that you're really interested, that's fine. In fact, it might even be necessary in some cases, because you don't want a situation where she thinks, oh, this guy's not really feeling it, because guess what? She's got a million other guys simping for her. So the you know, if she thinks that, like, okay, well, this guy's not feeling it, she's likely to look for validation elsewhere, and then maybe start simping for somebody else, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, if she's got one itis for you, sure, that won't happen. But if she's got one itis for you, you don't need all this shit. So no, I would say that, like, go ahead, text her as much as you want. Now, the exception would be something like, let's say, and I haven't seen the conversations, but maybe if you could show me the text, I could evaluate it better. But it would be something like, let's say you've sent 3 texts to her in a row, okay, and that haven't been replied. Well, then you have to consider maybe she just doesn't want to continue to correspond, and which is fine. You know, I mean, like, even if it's something like, let's say you really do want to continue to talk to her, and it's like, well, 3 texts in a row, no response. I mean, I think you understand that she probably lost interest. And so in that case, I would say that, sure, leave the door open if you want, but I would stop reaching out at that point. Again, this is a very general rule. It depends so much on the girl, so much on, like, I would need to see the conversation, but I would say that then stop reaching out. But really stop reaching out. Don't stop. Like, you don't need to do beta shit like block her number. You don't need to be a you don't need to just sit around waiting for her to text. I'd say the opposite. Just kind of assume, like, okay, she's moved on, and then you do too. And then maybe it hurts. Maybe you wanted to go forward. So, like I said, leave the door open if that's what you want. But leave it there. And then you could even, like, if she does reach back out, you could even confront her about it if it was something that you were bothered about. But these red pill guys are making this shit way too complicated. Because, and I'll say it again, I know it's easy for me to say, but I'm like, if the only way for you to make this stuff work with her is to, like, analyze, like, the amount of time you're spending, between your texts, is that really somebody you want to be with? Because that's going to be just constant. How are you going to live your life like that with that level of stress? I would rather just, be honest and open with people from the beginning. So yeah, no, you don't need to do that. And, but no, like, if she like, the thing is, I think to most women, to pretty much all women actually, is a woman necessarily going to be turned off by bad or inconsiderate treatment? No. In fact, and sometimes they'll be turned on by it. They will be turned off, though, if they know you're doing it to try to turn them on. It's got to be organic, bad, inconsiderate treatment. It can't be deliberate. That's not going to work. And women are really intuitive about that stuff. You're just humiliating yourself. And like I've said before, women will not maintain attraction for a man who they don't respect. And no woman, or any person for that matter, is going to respect that kind of behavior. It's so pathetic. And what about you? Don't you have self-respect? Because let's say it would work. Let's say it would work, that kind of shit. And you could maintain having a relationship like that. Well, don't you have any self-respect? Like, how could you just disgrace yourself like that? Yeah. So you just horrible, horrendous advice from Casey. And the thing is, maybe I should have watched the video a little bit more before deciding to comment on it, because I usually don't make it all the way to the end with Casey's videos. And it was like, I don't even really remember what his advice was, other than to say, like, you have to, like, satisfy her hypergamy by not investing in it. But again, like, the thing is, like, I do understand the concerns about hypergamy, but it's just irrelevant when she's already invested this much. When she's already simping for you, hypergamy is not an irrelevant consideration. I mean, I think in general, it's something you just can't do anything about. Like, the thing is, if you're really worried about hypergamy, how do you stop? Do you want to know how you really conquer a woman's hypergamous nature? Have her simp for you. If she's got one-nightus for you, that is going to roll over. That's going to run over or overrule the hypergamy. Okay? And I hate using this PUA or red pill lingo, but I don't know what else to say. Have her be simping for you. And how do you get her to simp for you? You don't. She either is or she isn't. Okay? You know, I mean, like, I don't want to be fatalistic here, but part of having success is working within your limitations, not just denying that they exist. You know, like, there's certain things you don't have control over. Focus on the stuff you do have control over. Jesus fucking Christ. That's all for now. See you in the next.